Wow. What an animation that is for our intro. What an animation. Here we are. Stars Without Numbers, Shipbreakers, the tales of the crew of the LAS Golden Goose, back for episode 3. Previously, our team had some family matters, took on some jobs, made some plans for how to execute those jobs, talked to some parents, and executed a ground mission to a college that is not going particularly well. I would say that though this is the first ground deployment we've seen of the captain and mission specialist MINERVA, it is going pretty poorly. So far, there has been one casualty in the form of a sweatshirt.
It's just a little puke.
Yeah, it's a friendly blue down. We have some tidying up to do before we jump into the story. Everyone, I think, is rolled for their new hit points.
I did.
Quentin, you're up to a big 6 now, a huge number 6. So you didn't go anywhere, right? You just stayed at the same.
I went up 2 points.
You went up 2 points. All right, that is big. That is big.
Yeah, it helps.
MINERVA, you're at 8. Are you? I forget what it's called, but are you enhancing your suit to give yourself an additional +5 when you're in your?
I am. I have committed processing to have affinity with my armature.
So you have 13, which actually makes you the strongest character.
So my dexterity and my strength are boosted to 14 because of the affinity, and I get 5 bonus hit points.
You could survive a gunshot.
A single gunshot, and I'm not good. And I would be rubbish at shooting back.
I just want to. So I'll go over this in a second. I want to talk to Mr. Big Numbers, the man who rolled huge here. Vandorn, Van-Vee, Vantis, clocking in at 12 hit points, not requiring a false suit of metal faking the human form. That is his real human body pulling in those big numbers.
See, I went with a little strategery here, and with my allotted skill point slash attribute uppings, I increased my constitution from a 13 to a 14, which gives me that +1, which really adds 1 per level. And I'm partial warrior, which gives me another +1 per level. So I'm rolled average, a 6 and a 1, but then got some boosting there. So Van-Vee's looking good.
So I wanted to talk briefly about money, because I think that both the audience and our players don't really have a basis for what some of these numbers that have been thrown around mean. So the spaceship that you're on is one of about 10,000 spaceships that currently exist, and it's worth about $1 million. $1 million is the amount of free cash a oligarch would be able to spend at any one given time, billfold, all out. 5 million is about the total holdings that could be made liquid for an oligarch. A super carrier is about 80 to 90 million, and that's considered you would have to have several wealthy planets in order to support such a incredible endeavor. You got a job
such as Fenona's flagship.
It's true. Fenona's flagship is a super carrier. They maintain it. It should also be noted that you got a job for about 24,000. For you guys living day to day, it's about $20. Food, air, heat, power, that sort of stuff. So a $24,000 transport job is a lot. And so when I say that your spike drive for your cruiser replacement is like 2.5 to 3 million, if you could even get a slot, just know that that's really expensive. Like Mr. Moneybags from Monopoly would need to have 2 friends get together into a secret capitalist cabal to afford one.
A lot of pass and go.
Yeah.
I had some thoughts about this. Yeah.
On the other hand, it should be noted that Van-Vee's parents easily have 100 million for their expenditure.
And one of them is happy to help. The other would assassinate the one who does help.
They are super oligarchs from an extremely wealthy planet that's basically like the leading edge of the sector. So,
Unless by parents you meant my birth mother too. Interesting twist.
yeah, your birth mother. What could be going on there? Hey, your quest to find her is an 18 experience point one, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if you said this on camera or not, but when you were like, yeah, so Ludemann, you got your long-term quest is like 6, and that's a lot of experience. That's a tough mission. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you said mine was 18. I was like, what the fuck?
What was
some people say that the
12 for you, I think, Minerva.
Minerva's is 8.
Mine's 8.
Oh, 8.
Some people say that the quest itself is the reward. Those people are wrong.
The real answer is it's all the friends you make along the way, right?
We'll see how you feel about your friends at the end of all of this.
I'm brain farting super hard, but the rumor that persisted for decades about the missing daughter from the Russian royal family.
Yeah, Anastasia.
Yeah, Anastasia. Van-Vee is this universe is Anastasia.
Did you know that she was actually the first person in history to take a selfie?
No idea.
Yeah. The history of the selfie begins with her taking one of those flash bulbs and using it on herself. It's crazy. Let's talk about changes in goals. These are the goals that I have written down. Quentin, improve Minerva's relationship with Louis. Is that still the case?
No. Current plan is to form a partnership with Iano or Professor Sporadicus here and try to leverage the resources of the university to help us find perhaps ruins to look at, other things like that.
Van-Vee, yours is find information to lead you on the trail for your mom.
I feel like I accomplished that last time, so I actually think I'd like to change that.
Just to be clear, you can have this one as long as you're always working on it. There's nothing... Yeah. But if you have a change you want to do, please go ahead.
I'm hoping this session to get us a contact for the invite to get the treasure map.
Get a contact for the invite.
Or
rather
use
than
a contact to get
map,
an invite.
I'm going to say go to the Black Market Bazaar.
Yes, fair.
Who knows what you'll actually get while you're there. Minerva, yours is get an opportunity to read a historical text. You're literally, if you keep that, the start of the session, you will succeed at it. So if you keep it, it's a free experience point, but it also does nothing for you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't give you any new guiding line. I'm not trying to talk you away from it, because clearly, if you want a free experience point, keep it the same.
Yeah, I think because of the some of the stuff the other two are up to, I think I'll keep it simple for myself so we can focus on their goals.
All right. And I believe your new crew goal is for the crew to collectively do an evaluation of Zach Vostro to see his suitability into joining the crew.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think we were just talking on Discord. Did we want to broaden it more to say what are our biggest needs, both from an equipment, like ship perspective and personnel? Or did we want to specifically think just personnel, specifically Zach?
I mean, I think if we were to evaluate a way that we could fit him in, I think that evaluation process will include doing some of those other things, like what are our needs? What would we try to see if he has an aptitude for, or tell him to study to see if he's serious? I think we'd end up having to do those other steps along the way.
Like if he comes in and says he's a great pilot, well, too bad, that's me. Like, buzz off. If he says he's doing something else, let's gear him in that direction.
So keep it specific.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine either way. Whatever you guys think is. Yeah,
I think so. Well, I mean, we'll identify what our needs are. We'll see if Van-Vee can fit them, or Van-Vee's brother can fit them, and if he can't, then we know what we need to do if we want to look for another crew member. We already have an idea of the holes that we could try to fill.
If he joins us, we're going to have to call him ZV.
Oh God.
The V's.
With that technical paperwork out of the way, are we ready to get started?
Let's roll.
The lower left-hand corner of the screen, all black. 8 hours ago, we hear a beep, beep, beep. and then we hear someone slap down an alarm button, and then like some sort of jitterbuggy like yeah starts playing as we hear the sound of a shower, and then like it fades in on someone like putting on like gym shorts and like picking something. All we see is like an arm picking up a sweatshirt from the bed and like sniffing it to make sure it's okay. We hear them putting it on, and then we see that it's Iono Kanto, like looking in the mirror, just like looking at herself. It's got a bunch of like not like actual sticky notes, but like hollow sticky notes on them, and one of them says daily affirmation, and she sits there and reads it and says, when things get hard, be just like the princess. Put on your scrunchie, pull back your ponytail, and roll up your sleeves. Okay. She like goes forward and tries to get coffee from her coffee machine, and it's not working, and she does it like 3 times. She's, we can do this. Okay. And so she, you know, exits her apartment, just a very plain, super average, symmetrical looking human being of Japanese descent, with like forward bangs and a school bag, like a messenger bag, just walking down the street. Everywhere, everything she passes is an advertisement trying to lure her into a building's commercial district, or talking about the royal princess, or news about mining. The 3 big topics: money, the princess, or mining. She gets into the school, and then in fast forward, Quentin appears, she gets thrown up on, and then she's standing looking at her like dull shiny reflection in a stainless steel sink, just pulling out her scrunchie, putting it on, just saying her affirmation, while Quentin in the background is just like, this is incredible. Oh my God. Like the scene makes him look like he's just freaking out in the background. And it just goes like enhance. It zooms in a corner of Iono's vision where MINERVA is looking over the history of the Scream as it pertains to Midapillions. So immediately after the Scream, this document tells you that like the whole conclave of psionics that lived on Midapile at the time were in space and had access to spaceships, and started like something called the Brushfire War, where they would leap from asteroid to asteroid, either recruiting god cult adherents that would worship them as the singular god left in the universe, or killing all of them in sacrifices to themselves and their new holy divine powers. As a result, basically every spaceship in Midapile airspace was destroyed. And all of their hulks were left up there for hundreds of years, ready to be salvaged, still mostly usable. Things were not better on the ground. The government was mostly psionic and thus died pretty much instantly. Things on the ground devolved into factional fighting. Technology was lost rather quickly, back down to like a 19th century level. And then about 150 years ago, messengers came from the exchange and enticed people back into space. And one of the factions had like a leading royal prince by the name of Joff Robinson, and he established a new sort of government, the Federated Principality of Robinson, and managed to earn himself and several of his people a spot on a ship that was basically being lended by the exchange to the planet as like a, hey, we're going to take some people from every faction, and you're going to take this ship and set out, and you know, you can explore all of the exchange routes, and you'll be like ambassadors. So only the prince came back from that expedition, and no one really knows what happened on it. But when he came back, he was not like a super charismatic guy. He was kind of like the power behind the throne, not like super tall, not particularly strong, but his time and space changed him, and maybe it was just passing through the mystical pathways of the meta dimensions. When he came back, he was a big guy. Like, he put on like 150 pounds of muscle and gained like 2 inches of height. He was alone with a spaceship full of treasures, declared himself the royal prince of the entire planet, and within about 5 years had reformed the planet from like 21st century level technology of like rocket spaceships to like true ability to mine in space. And within about 15 years, they had established themselves as the preeminent power in the sector. Now, they weren't able to project that power, but as the essential sole creator of new spike drive mass delivery, everyone had to go through them, and so no one could afford to make them an enemy. They became something like a Switzerland. That's the history post-Scream, is that's what you get on an 8. Not particularly comprehensive, but lots of rich history describing the amazing journey of the incredible Robinson family and how super great they are.
Interesting how Prince Robinson returned alone, just like Quentin, and no one knows why.
Okay, so it is all written in a very positive light.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You just to be clear, this is a public library owned by the royal family.
Right.
Okay.
And he is the progenitor of the current royal family?
Well, he had a daughter, and she is the current ruler. He lived for almost 200 years.
I see.
So she's been the ruler for about 20 years now, and she inherited when she was 7. He finally passed away of truly old age. Well,
interesting.
Quentin, Minerva, you've got some things here.
Yeah, so
as soon as you say
Iano's
something, Quentin, something pops into the room. The door bursts open, and there's a dude who just shuffles in. He's got huge turtle glasses right here, just coming in. Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry I'm late. My chronometer broke. The name's Sporadicus, Coon Sporadicus, your treasure hunter of fortune, the ruin salvager. Quentin Polk, yes, my apologies. I'm sure I'm 5-6 minutes late.
Yeah, something like that. Nice to meet you. Sticks his hand out.
He goes for her hand and misses, and then corrects and like back slaps her hands. That's just how we do it here now. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, I'm gonna do it right. Okay. Yes. You could tell that Iano is definitely used to this behavior, and she comes over and like helps him sort where all of his papers are supposed to go.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, my dear Miss Kanto. All right, so Quentin Polk. Alexander, yes. You're here, something, oh, yes, I remember now. Yes, it's that all the other professors didn't want to talk to you, and they pushed you off on me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I probably wasn't supposed to say that out loud.
I appreciate the candor.
I have little filter, which is probably why my tenure has landed me in this particular... He just looks around a not particularly large discussion library laboratory
It's
for
a beautiful
post-Scream
space.
psionic studies and meta-dimensional beings. It is a beautiful space. Thank you so much. You know, my research assistants do a great job. That's it. I'm a rather good tenor, you know. Yeah. Okay, I just haven't warmed up my vocal cords, you know.
No, I understand. I do appreciate you meeting with me. It's didn't expect to see my face when I walked in the room.
Oh, why is your face there? Iano? And Iono's just like, that's the dissertation I've been working on for 2 years. You're my doctoral advisor, Professor Kuntz. Yes, of course. I remember it now. I'm sorry, I haven't had any coffee. My coffee machine broke this morning. And Iono goes, that's so weird. Mine did too. Huh. If you'll give me a minute, Professor, I'll go get you something from the canteen. He goes, oh, the school canteen. Public coffee? No, go to the place down the street, my girl. Thank you very much. You know, she doesn't understand. She's not from Midpile.
As she's leaving the room there on her way, or Quentin will say, sorry again. Apologies.
All right, so let's get down to business. What can
sir,
I do for you?
I had originally come because I was hoping that you could help me. Maybe
1 moment.
Oh no!
Who is this person standing in the corner of my lab, incredibly still?
So sorry. Let me introduce you. This is
just
my
like on the terminal.
Minerva.
Look over.
Sorry, Minerva.
Minerva. Yeah.
Yes, my
Specialist.
name is Minerva. It's a
Okay.
pleasure to meet you.
Yes, welcome, Minerva. I didn't know that you were coming. What exactly is your relationship to these discussions?
I am a member of the crew.
You're a member of the crew. What crew?
The crew of the Golden
Oh
Goose.
dear.
What is the Golden Goose?
And hold on, let me pull up my thing here real quick. It is it's a yard arm, right?
Yard ship.
She goes with it. Like,
Yard ship.
Oh! Okay. What does that have to do with this discussion?
that's our ship. That
Oh, it's your ship, and she's
Yeah.
on your crew, and you brought her
That's
here.
right.
All right, now everything's making sense now.
full circle.
Yes, of course.
It's a bystander listening in. No big deal.
Sir, I'd originally reached out because I was hoping that, maybe you could help me out in some research that I was interested in. Yano kind of gave me a lead already, but I'm interested in, there were originally 2 psionic academies in this sector.
Yes. I don't know what Iono's told you, but I think there's a fairly high likelihood the second one is real. It's really real. There's a lot of indications that it is real. There's some indications it's not real.
All we knew about it on Lita was like a scrap of paper with a reference to something that maybe existed. So that's...
We also have a scrap of paper with a reference to something that actually exists.
That's fantastic.
Have you seen
and
it?
I'm looking for leads. Have I seen it? Did she show me this?
It's the message indicating that it's in the Gemini cluster.
Okay, yeah. So I have, and it's very exciting, and that is really like high on my to-do list at this point to go visit the
You've
Gemini
reached
cluster.
the full knowledge of what I've got there.
Fantastic. So you can do nothing. All right.
I have command of a staff of 3 research assistants and some amount of money in a research budget.
Okay. Interesting. Because I think we can do something together. You have a little bit of a budget.
Agree. I'm going to talk.
And I've got a ship.
I could use some grants. Let's just talk about that straight up. Anything you want to kick back my way, I'd be real appreciative. I'm just being frank out here. No one's recording me, I'm hoping. Let me say this. Research papers, my name's on the white page. Everybody else goes on page 2.
I can live with that. I can definitely live with that.
What can you use from the... He's not pausing. I'm pausing because I want to make sure I get the name right. The Royal Library Emeritus History Department, Subdepartment for Pre-Scream Psionic Studies and Metadimensional Beings.
Well, look, we're looking for leads. If there's anything that you can think of that is a high possibility that is worth our attention, think about it from your perspective of getting out in the field. We can provide transportation if you need to get a couple researchers out to a site.
All right.
And on our end,
I will be flat honest with you. All right. This quest doesn't go anywhere unless you have a Northwest Expedition level navigator. Okay? All right? There's about 3 of them still alive. You are going to need to find somebody who's got the ships. And, frankly, I know it's gendered language. My apologies, my lady, but the balls to make that huge leap into the unknown, because the Gemini cluster is not close. It's far. And we don't really know how to get there. You got to get there. And even if you survive that trip, you got to come back. And that's a different course. You got to get a second rudder in there. It is not safe at all to do this kind of research. There is a very high likelihood that you go there and you never come back. Even if you survive, you just choose not to come back because of the risk. I don't know how many ships have jumped into nowhere and have not come back. You know, maybe they just get there and they're like, "Oh, that was way too risky." I'm not a risk taker. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a research professor, and
that's really what I'm here for. I want to take those risks. I think it's going to be worth it. I think that there is a lot to discover here. I'll tell you, like, the treatments for metadimensional extroversion syndrome are primitive at best. And
actually, I have to tell you, research indicates that outside of the Terran mandate, Eden has got some real good biopsionic medicine.
Absolutely. But we're working originally from a starting point with barely any electronic instruments, no scientific basis. It was all by feel.
I understand your people. I hope you aren't too insulted. They are primitive, technological Luddites who don't understand anything. Cavemen knocking together. You guys may speak
We have a very
English,
comprehensive
but we don't really
education system.
each other. Listen.
Okay, we are both academics.
I don't want to throw my dick around here, but you want to talk about a comprehend. I understand you're a professor back at home.
That's right.
But we're in a massive public college right now.
You know, you probably have a doctorate or two more than I do.
I have a tablet which contains more information than the entirety of all of your planet's books in my back pocket. I cracked the screen on it yesterday when I sat on it. I could replace it for like $20.
MINERVA's done the calculation. It's like actually accurate.
Just like calculating the compression rate and what could fit on a tablet, and then trying to compare that to tech that it's familiar with.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a huge dick here, but raising the lead-ins up might be a more worthwhile endeavor. I mean, you could, if you pursue the second Psionic Academy personally, there is a very high chance you will die. And everyone on the ship will die, and the ship will die. There's also
nobody with me is going to make that choice without
there is
that
a chance
knowledge.
You may not die, and you'll be stuck in metadimensional space forever.
Or we find it.
Yeah.
And we come back.
Listen, I'm not like up on spaceship statistics, but I'm pretty sure it's like a 1 in 30 chance. Like every 30 ships that were sent out. Mentioned? Sorry, Northwest Expedition.
Oh, okay.
It's a reference to Canada.
Okay. Oh, okay. Got you.
It's basically a nearly impossible path over the Canadian wilderness to get to the Pacific Ocean. Faster than going all the way down past the South America. So in this historical universe, a Northwest Expedition level navigator is basically someone who can do the literal impossible.
Okay.
Like Starfire level 2-ish, or
that's what I was gonna say. It's like
you may want to look at becoming a full expert so that you get the re-roll.
Oh yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah, I mean, Quentin would start to kind of hype up Van-Vee. We've got a Van-Vee. I tell you, he is the best navigator that I have ever met. And he'll drop a casual name drop of the family, the Vostro family.
Vostro. I thought their son was a little bit.
He's not above
using
using
Space Cowboy. he goes over to a shelf, and the Vostro family, like, they're all displayed as dogs of different breeds. And then there's the one pup who's like, he's a golden retriever, and he's got like a gun strapped to his back. And it's the only one. It's like Beanie Babies, right? They have a name on the inside. Like there's the Zach Vostro one, and then there's Space Cowboy. You know, they can't name him because they didn't have his permission, but they still wanted to sell the whole family set. He gets it down, and he's just like, "That's right, it's me, Space Cowboy. I love these things. You know, they're supposed to gain in value by almost double every year. Can't wait to offload them. It's going to be my retirement savings for sure."
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the one. As far as I know, anyway.
Wow. Okay. Well, you've got all that. I don't know what you need from me.
Well, what I was hoping from you was a direction. You did kind of already give me that, but
Oh,
I was
the
offering
Gemini
you a
cluster,
partnership
for sure.
here.
Yo, I would love the partnership. Well, look. Listen, if you've got at least a level 2 spike drive, if you can make your way to the Con 955, you could make a jump to the Gemini cluster.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have to go all the way around to Aussie, and that's a real pain in the ass, I have to tell you.
That's great. Now, I like that idea. I mean, I guess I was originally thinking you might need more from us and be able to provide some other short-term leads, because maybe we're not going to do this right away, or maybe some research. You said you have researchers. Is there any way that you could put somebody on finding the oldest rudder in the books that you can find that gets us anything close?
I mean, once the rudder gets more than like 5 years old, it's totally worthless.
I mean,
all right.
Well,
I'll tell you what. I do have something, but it's really expensive, and I'm putting all of my chips in on you. Make a persuasion.
I like expensive.
Make some form of persuasion with this guy.
Some form of persuasion.
Now,
Connect.
I believe you got him through Connect, so you can use Connect with him.
All right, let's do it.
I don't think I have any way to help you on this roll.
Boy, that is an awful roll. I need you to recognize that.
No dice.
All right. He says, I'm going to want some collateral on this bad boy.
What are we talking?
What do you got?
What do we have?
Let me just be real frank here. I am open to bribes.
All right.
I mean,
well,
I know Van-Vee's not there, but it feels like if you were to, as a professor, if you were to tempt this guy by naming something after him, it seems like he would totally go for that.
that's not a bad idea whatsoever. I mean, he did already request like first name on any sort of research paper, right? That comes
right. But if you like up it to be like, hey, if I can get like a building or something named after you, or some new lab.
When I come back alive, you will get credit as the primary organizing force of the expedition.
Absolutely. If you offer him that, he will agree.
Yeah, I will definitely offer him essentially first dibs on like the research of artifacts we bring back, anything that like we can acquire, that all of that. Like
the two of you stick your heads down and work on some paperwork. What he's offering you, have you ever seen the incredibly well-made, amazing movie Twister?
Yes.
He is offering you the, I don't know what it's called, the Darlene device or whatever. So what he wants you to do is when you are about to finish the jump into QAN 955, you eject this thing from an airlock. And right as you're about to come out, it will attempt to communicate with you what it can as a metadimensional probe. Now, it'll be lost there forever. But this thing is supposed to send out a very quick pulse to check for rudders in every direction. But what it's really doing is it's a scanner for metadimensional beings.
Okay.
This is his like life's work, last shot to see if he can get confirmation of proof of something even the Terran Mandate didn't have. True metadimensional life.
Okay.
This is his, I want to get that 9 billion year old radio signal from a distant galaxy cluster that has a coherent signal.
Yeah. So is he messing with Yono by pretending not to know that?
I mean, first off, he does mess with Yono. Let's be really clear. But second off, no one can prove metadimensional beings exist.
Right, okay.
No one's been able to do it. This machine can do many things while it's in metadimensional space, but it can only perform these acts very close to a gravity well, which means the amount of time it has to scan is like a fraction of a second. You have to release it right before you come out of the drill.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would look at MINERVA at that point and be like, MINERVA, you think we can make this work?
I'll regurgitate some. I'll regurgitate some math to show like a precision understanding of when it needs to be deployed.
You're literally probably the only one in the sector capable of pulling off this maneuver.
Yeah.
Because you are the ship and you're capable of that level of reflex.
So yeah, I'll look at it, and when he asks like, do you think we can do this? And I'll look at it and I'll for a moment, and then I'll spit some math back and go, I can do that.
Oh shit. That's tight. Okay. I didn't realize I was working with an nth level mathematician. Okay. All right. We've got some real quantum stuff going on here.
I was gifted with mathematics as a child.
Iano burst in with 5 coffees. And she just starts handing them out. And he's just like, great news, Iano. I'm loaning your device to Quentin. She's just like, you can't really, it doesn't come back, Professor. You can't really loan it. And, you know, it's not really my device. We worked on it together. I did do most of the technical engineering, programming, material science. He's just like, yes, I know. We'll name it after you. It'll be the Kanto device. It's just like, oh. You get the feeling that this is like very important for her.
Yeah.
I hope at some point in the future the O gets dropped and it's just called the Can't device.
Oh,
you're a bad person. You're a bad person.
Yeah, that's brutal.
If we are to be entrusted with a device of such importance, then it would be beneficial if I could examine your the plans for the device to ensure that if anything happens, we give it the best chance of success.
Oh, sure. That's all proprietary information. I mean, technically, again, it belongs to the royal family, so I'm going to need you to sign some waivers, security permissions. You'll be responsible financially and legally for any security leaks, the theft or loss of this device.
Yono, I'm a little surprised you're not trying to babysit this thing and come with.
Oh boy. Do you want to make a roll to seal this deal?
We're becoming a daycare.
I mean, we don't we can.
I mean that would give, if we want the device to work, if something happens to it, then that also means that we don't have to sign the paperwork for responsibility for it. We can make her be the escort of the device.
I'm fine.
You can't use Connect because you didn't find her through Connect.
Right.
But
okay. I have administer, lead, and
I'll take lead.
That's basically it.
For sure. Right. With charisma.
You've got ranks in lead?
I do.
Cool.
You better. Nice. All right. You say this, and this is like the research opportunity of a lifetime. To be there when the device kicks back the data, to make sure it works personally. She looks at the professor, who's just like, how am I going to get my morning coffee without you? Who's going to clean my car? All right, well, you've been here for 4 years. You've done some pretty good work, I suppose. And, if it works, I'll have to give you your doctorship, but just let you know what? You get to QAN 955, you get data, just give yourself a diploma. Dr. Kanto?
Give yourself a diploma.
All right, she runs over and gives him a huge hug, and he's like, oh, goodness, this sentimentality, please. All right, I'm going to give you like 5 seconds of this, and then I'm going to call security. But he lets it last for more than 5 seconds. With that, we fade up to Van-Vee. I don't know what's going on with you. You had an encounter with your stepmother. You know, there's a lot going on upstairs on the space station. I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to do before the crew came back up.
Yeah, so we ended the debate, I guess, with y'all. My dad went downstairs. Sophie was kind enough to mention what little information she does have about where we came from. But given that this was still in front of the rest of the family, I think Van-Vee would want to try to arrange one more meeting just between him and Sophie. Probably not.
She doesn't have anything else. She gave you literally, she gave you the results of like years of research into your father's history.
Well, not about, it wouldn't be about the father's history.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
But he just things he would like to discuss with her, not, I guess, in front of y'all.
He takes you out on a shopping trip to buy you new clothes because you look like you walked out of Lita.
That's the look he's going for.
Yeah, but she wants to make sure that you have nice clothes in case you encounter anybody from society.
So that basically means he wants a nicer new jacket to cover everything else.
I mean, so Midapile is future space Britain with a little bit of French and a little bit of Japanese thrown in. So nice. Definitely some like overrobe stuff. You probably will come out of this looking either like you're about to drop a fat mixtape or you're about to go to somebody's bridal shower. One of the two.
Given Van-Vee style, probably mixtape.
Okay.
While listening to Beethoven.
She takes you to a shop owned by her, and it's all VI workers. So like robots.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's just like, well, you seem like you have something to say.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you again for the discussion you had, the information you provided me. I'm trying to see how I can help you and the family. I mean, both Zach and Allie seem to have needs different of what y'all has planned, and I don't want to overstep, but I want to help. And so I just like to work with you.
Okay, let me say first off that your father has pretty solid plans for their future if they want to pursue them. They don't have to. I'm supportive of those plans. Or of any plans any of my children want to pursue. But second off, I do have things that I need to get done. I don't know if your captain told you, but we do have him delivering a load of cargo on our behalf.
Yes. So I mean that's business work. I'm thinking how I can help the family. Like, do you know that Allie wants to study xenoarchaeology, not at a private school, but at New Aflac? Aflac? I think I removed an L. A.
You get the idea that she maybe had some knowledge of this, but it still comes as like a, okay, well. I mean, the program there might be ambitious. I'll have to take a look into it. You're right. I didn't know that. I did know that she did want to study that. Look, there are things that I want for the family. And I know that you might not know them because you haven't been here, but I also want what's best for all of you that you believe. Now, this is I'm going to be honest with you. I did offer your captain this cargo job. It is a exorbitant overhead for him. Like, the margin I offered him is truly ridiculous, and it is pocket change. It's basically nothing.
Well, our cargo hold is empty, so it's better than nothing.
Yes, just look. You've chosen to walk away from the family business, and that is fine. And if Allie and Zach also want to make those choices, I'd be a bit saddened. I mean, I have worked my entire life to get this family to where it is, but you've all had good educations. You've had good upbringings. Society will continue around you. And I guess all I would ask, if there's something you want to do, is just to make sure that you represent the family well wherever you go. And if you do things that don't represent us well, that you make sure to cover it up.
Yes, I have a plan for that. I mean, you met MINERVA. I think she can help cover so I don't have to be labeled space cowboy in our family picture anymore.
Would you like to... I have the paperwork. If you'd like
is that all it is? You just need my signature?
Yeah, we can't... You're a citizen of Midapile. We can't use your name and likeness without your permission. You have a right to your own personal security, privacy, and autonomy.
I'd be more than happy to
If
sign
you
that.
want to be part of the family's propaganda measures, I have no problem with that. She holds out a tablet for you.
I sign immediately, just trying to make some sort of like goodwill, because to him it's a whatever. It's a name on a pet dog.
Okay. She pulls you in for a hug because for her this is a big deal.
Little things like this, like I think that y'all might appreciate it. He'll never admit it. I think you clearly appreciate it. I want to help Allie and Zach as well, and I don't know if they know that they can stand up to y'all and tell them what they would like to do.
Out of all of the mythical breeds, Golden Retriever is his favorite dog.
And that's what Van-Vee is, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So just to be clear, dogs don't exist in this sector. There are no small animal pets. So these are essentially like historical figures, like chupacabras.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll do my best to what you said. I will try to continue to leave a good impression on our name, and hopefully MINERVA can help me remove anything that might leave a sour taste on our name that I might perform. I think MINERVA can help me out. She's kind of, PR friendly.
Do you know what relationship MINERVA has with the government?
Can't say I've ever asked. Not really, no. Why? Something I can look up for?
There's
for
something
you?
in her file. It's pretty high level security clearance, chartreuse. It just appeared a few weeks ago. You don't know anything about that? Right about the time she joined your crew.
I mean, how much would Van-Vee actually know? Because MINERVA has been
basically everything that, she's an AI. The government took the data, some parts that were basically scrap but were incredibly valuable for them to make a leapfrog in technology, and have offered her an identity as a citizen and a body that she can inhabit. That's a mechanical body, but it looks like a flesh human. I mean, you know the truth of this matter, but you also know that it's a national secret.
Yeah. Okay. So,
But we're not, at least the deal, like, big deal is if there is going to be a reveal of my nature, we are obligated to ensure that the government, the royal family of Midapile, knows first.
Prime Minister would like a heads up.
The Prime Minister would like to know before anybody else does.
Yeah, fair. What I was trying to figure out is how big of a lie do I have to tell?
Before you tell this lie, I would love for you to make a lying roll.
Which is what I was wondering of how much do I say, or just say, I don't know, and walk away.
I would love for you to make the roll first, and then you can craft the story based on the success of that roll.
I mean, there is the non-lying option of I'm not allowed to say, but would you do that with your mother?
You could duck it if you wanted to.
In given how the past session and a half has gone trying to build trust, I don't think that's a good choice. So just
lying to your mother's a better choice.
In this case,
let's see how the roll goes.
How's a top roll? Does that work for you?
Yeah, of course, with charisma.
Yes.
Okay.
Not bad.
Your mom is gonna oppose this with a notice.
Oh god, she's probably really good at this.
Yeah, she gets 2d6 plus 4, and she's an expert, so she can re-roll.
Oh, come on. Dropping that bomb after.
Brutal.
I know she's an
Come on
incredibly
now.
wealthy politician. Of course, she's an expert. Yeah, she just looks at you and says, "Okay, okay."
So I think in knowing that pretty much no matter what he says, he'll probably know.
Before you even say anything, she
she's
looks
lying.
at you and knows you're lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just like, you don't have to say it. You don't.
He'll probably
don't-
start saying something and then just trail off as she's like,
It's
"Mhm,
okay.
mhm."
There's something more here. Don't lie to me. Just don't do it.
That's fair. I'll just end mid sentence. So it's like pretty clear. Well, I guess. So I guess just to get back to business a little bit. Speaking of the crew with Captain and Minerva, we do have a need for some pretty particular parts. Maybe not immediately, but I'm wondering, over the next couple, I don't know what a good unit of time is, weeks, months, whatever. If we have a need for a special part that we can't find anywhere, could we use you guys? Could we use
Like what kind of
Virtuous
part?
Construction? Well, heck, it could be anything really, but I think what will be the toughest are the drives, right? They're always the toughest.
Yeah. We're pretty much the only ones making drives in any number. Midapile itself, Bowstroke Constructions doesn't make them, but we do all of the supply for it.
Even say your 4, 5, 6 tier drives.
Can you even fit a level 4 drive in your ship?
Not in our current ship, no.
Are you planning to get a bigger ship soon?
Well, if our operation goes well, our crew will increase. Bigger jobs, bigger ship, things like that.
Look, I was involved, as much as I can say, with the last time a level 5 drive was created. It took 5 years, and construction of all other drives stopped during the 2 final years of production. I think now that we've got one underway, and that was for, of course, the Wellerman class. So, that's a huge, absolutely massive drive. For something smaller like a frigate, it wouldn't take anywhere near as long, but it would still require lining up a slot. I know some people. I think I could probably get the pull. I don't think you have the cash necessary to make it happen.
Which leads into my second question. In order to get some cash, we're going on some artifact hunting, and we've got a lead that gets us onto an auction, but we can't get in without an invite.
Okay.
Where's
this auction?
I have it written down somewhere. Hold on. In the Quan system on Omura 9, there's supposedly some good auctioning going on for a treasure
Pirate
map.
outpost?
I didn't think this was your cup of tea, but I just had to ask. If you have any context.
I don't have any capability to get you in there except by offering a giant pile of money. I'm willing to do that if you really need it, but
no, that's not what we're looking for. That would just probably raise suspicion.
I'm sorry, I don't do business with criminals. I'm a well-connected, high-level politician.
I wouldn't want to associate you with those audiences anywhere. I just wasn't sure if you had other contacts that did do dealings with them.
In order to do business on Midapile, you need to please the royal family. And while her father may have had very different outlook, the current royal princess, who I love very much, is still particular in her moralistic view of everything.
This goes along with those lines of I shouldn't be doing anything to sully the Vostros name. Got it.
If you need this, just don't cause any problems while you're doing it. I'm not asking for a lot. Just, I can't have security footage of you shooting and killing a man on every television station in Midapile.
How did that footage? I mean, I suppose I asked for copies of it, but how did that footage? I don't understand how that got brought. Like, there's shootings every day. Why is that one the one that gets broadcast? And how did everyone know it was me so quick?
Because it's
that's not your problem. That's not your problem.
Because it's you.
I'll take care of that.
I took care of it already. And your father dealt with it down on the planet.
It will not happen again. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think it will happen again. I think that you live in a world, in a line of work where you're going to get yourself into trouble. All I ask is that you don't bring the trouble home.
He's trying to unsuccessfully imply it'll happen again, but you won't know about it.
Yeah, that's what she wants to hear, though.
It won't happen again.
I think that this half cape would look good on you.
Oh, you think? Let's see.
So it's like a Roman red with gold trim. Just, something to tie up over one shoulder to make you look kind of formal.
Plus, it's something to, flap up when he pulls out his gun. So.
Oh, yeah, as well. Yeah, it'll work for that, too. Yeah.
Perfect. He's on board. Of course, he won't admit that in front of Sophie, but that's what he's thinking.
It's like Lando Calrissian style cape.
It's going to look great when I kill another man. I mean, it bellows nice.
And how many other people wear capes? I'll easily be identifiable on this HoloVids.
I think now's a good time to take our break.
Okay.
When we come back, the crew's together back on the ship, maybe? I don't know if there's anything more you wanted to accomplish on Vostra 1 or on Midapile or...
Did we want to talk to the brother before we depart?
I assumed you were going to administer the tests on the ship.
We could take him on board the ship and then kick him off before we leave.
Just because at that point you'll be in control of the computer systems. So
yeah,
you're a little bit away from yourself now.
Yeah,
I think the only other person Van-Vee might want to talk to is the hell was his name? Carlita Sinistra.
Sinistra, yeah.
Can that be done? I don't know if that has to be done in person. That could just be done digitally.
You can just call him. Or send him an email. Yeah, for sure. All right. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Enjoy those ads. Or don't. I mean, who does, really?